What is up, guys? What is up, my friends of YouTube? It is Sergio here with Tech Overclock, and in today's video I am excited to review this other microphone set for live streaming, for vocal recording, for podcasting. As you can hear, you're listening to me. The microphone is recording straight into my software. My DAW is Reaper. Very good one, and it's free as well if you want to use it. I am reviewing this SUDOTACK professional condenser, USB condenser microphone set for, like I said, Twitch, YouTube streaming, podcast, radio broadcast, whatever you want to use it for. And it's mobile. And you are listening to me right now. This section of the audio hasn't been processed yet. I'm going to do a screen recording as well here in a minute, but I just wanted to introduce the microphone and what it's supposed to do. Is a USB type. It says right here on the box that it's got the shock mount. I'm also going to probably right now you're watching on the screen, what comes inside the box and whatnot. Which my microphone reviews are not based on unboxings and things like that. If I am reviewing a microphone, most likely I am doing I'm using it like right now. I have been messing around with the microphone and I have been doing my test here and there, and wow, I have to say, using it with my software, my DAW, the microphone sounds really, really good. What can I say? So you know what? Let's go ahead and get over into the computer and let's go ahead and open up OBS so we can check the audio waves, how it records, and some tips and tricks that I want to give you about the microphone. Hey guys, so here I am inside the computer. I am doing a recording of my screen using OBS Studio. Let's go and dive into the audio quality, because that is the main purpose of this video. The audio quality, the audio test, the wave, whatnot. So I like the fact of all the features that it includes, but the most important thing, or when we test as reviewers, when I go and watch a review, I want to hear the sound quality and I want the person to focus themselves into the sound quality. I want to hear it. Okay, so with that said, I am using Reaper, like I said, and my favorite it's my favorite software of all time. Nectar from Isotope. It's another of my favorite BSTs. So I am using Nectar 3, right? And right here I did a little bit of EQ'd and I did a little bit of processing to certain vocals right here. So let's go ahead and take a listen to it. I'm gonna go ahead and mute this microphone. Let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and mute it so we don't hear stuck sound. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. The first audio that you're going to listen to right now is going to be without any processing. It's going to be raw audio, and the next one's going to be with audio, the audio process, so you can have an idea how it sounds and what's the difference. Now let's just go. Let's do it. You are now listening to an audio test. This part of the audio is fully processed, EQ, and compressed. The audio was recorded using Reaper software. I am testing the pops and overall the audio quality of the microphone. I want pizza now. Papa, can I get a pop? 24. You are now listening to an audio test. This part of the audio is fully processed, EQ, and compressed. Alright, now let's go ahead and turn on the effects. Mute mic. You are now listening to an audio test. This part of the audio is fully processed, EQ, and compressed. The audio was recorded using Reaper software. I am testing the pops and overall the audio quality of the microphone. I want pizza now. Papa, can I get a pop? 24. You are now. What I did is I added a little bit of reverb, but if you don't want to hear the reverb, I can go ahead and bypass the reverb, and let's hear it again with no reverb. You are now listening to an audio test. This part of the audio is fully processed, EQ, and compressed. The audio was recorded using Reaper software. I am testing the pops and overall the audio quality of the microphone. Let's listen to it with no effects. You are now listening to an audio test. This part of the audio is fully processed, EQ, and compressed. The audio was recorded using Reaper software. Well, as you can hear, and I'll say it over and over again, when you use a microphone and you don't have to do a lot of EQing into the microphone, it's a good microphone. Now, what I'm going to talk about this microphone is, I want you to pay attention. I'm going to go ahead and reset everything the way it was. This was like that. Or actually, you know what? I can't. I'm going to take away the EQ and I'm going to bring it back again without being touched. Okay? So here it is. See? It's how it is. Now, I want you to take a look at the waves and watch this microphone. The mids are not too crazy. The lows of the microphone, they're really good. I like the lows. That way you can have that deep voice when you are doing live streaming, so the microphone doesn't sound disgusting. And I'm going to give you an example of what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and take it. I'm going to go ahead and turn off everything else, right? Because I'm going to enable it. I'm going to turn off everything else. See, as you can see right here, they're all disabled, bypassed. And I want you to take a look at the waves of the equalization built into the microphone. That is one key important, one key of importance, how a microphone, and more if it's USB, because if it's a XLR microphone, you plug it up into a mixer and you do the EQing into the mixer and you're good to go, right? You already process your audio and it's going to be recorded like that on OBS and whatnot. With USB microphones, you're out of luck. Why? Because you have no control of the EQ of the microphone. Like right now, going into OBS, there's no control in my hands for the EQing of this. And I can EQ it on Premiere Pro on my software, video editing software. But what about live streaming? The way that the microphone was built in and the equalization that they put into the microphone is how it's going to sound out there. So I want you to understand that. So you have no control of the EQ of this microphone, right? And right now, this whole video hasn't been processed besides what I'm doing right here on Reaper, because I want you to have a full idea of how this microphone sounds. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it garbage? We're finding out. So I go back to say, take a listen and take a look at the graphic of the equalization built into the mic. You are now listening to an audio test. This part of the audio is fully processed, EQ, and compressed. The audio was recorded using Reaper software. I am testing the pops and overall the audio quality of the microphone. As you can see, the lows are just perfect. The mids are perfect. The highs are perfect. Well, maybe not perfect, but they're great. They're good. You don't have to fiddle around with your audio. Why? Because they made the microphone right. They made it right. How else can I say it? Now let me give you an example of how a microphone with bad audio quality sounds like. You are now listening to an audio test. This part of the audio is fully processed, EQ, and compressed. The audio was recorded using Reaper software. I am testing the pops and overall the audio quality of the microphone. You are now listening to an audio test. This part of the audio is fully processed, EQ, and compressed. The audio was recorded using Reaper software. I am testing the pops and overall the audio quality of the... Are you listening to that? Listen to this right here. This is how some microphones are built in. This is a type of EQing, or maybe the capsule, or maybe the diaphragm of the microphone. It's really bad, or I don't know. But I've tested some microphones, and I'm gonna tell you, those microphones, I send them back to Amazon because I don't want to review something like that. You are now listening to an audio test. This part of the audio is fully processed, EQ, and compressed. That sounds disgusting, right? You are now listening to an audio test. This part of the audio is fully processed, EQ, and compressed. The audio was recorded using Reaper software. The only thing that I can think of doing to this audio right here, or this microphone, it's add a little compressor and add a little gate. And I like reverb because the reverb blends in with any other audio. You are now listening to an audio test. This part of the audio is fully... Oh yes, and do a little bit of EQing. Just a tiny bit of EQing. Because I think it lacks a little bit. See, that it's the headroom that this microphone gives you. You can add it in your highs as much as you want. You are now listening to an audio test. This part of the audio is fully processed, EQ, and compressed. The audio was recorded using Reaper software. I am testing the pops and overall the audio quality of the microphone. You are now listening to an audio test. This part of the audio is fully processed, EQ, and compressed. The audio was recorded using Reaper software. I am testing the pops and overall the audio quality of the microphone. You are now listening to an audio test. This part of the audio is fully processed. You are now listening to an audio test. This part of the audio is fully processed. You are now listening to an audio test. Bottom line, thumbs up to this microphone. What else can I say? This was your host, Sergio with the Overclocked. Come back, subscribe, because I'm going to be reviewing more mics. Stay tuned. You are now listening to an audio test. This part of the audio is fully processed, EQ, and compressed. The audio was recorded using Reaper software. I am testing the pops and overall